Once you have located your data, you need to analyze this data. Typically, researchers use some sort of statistical analysis software, such as SAS, Stata, or SPSS, to do so. To illustrate how this is done, we will use a dataset that contains information about U.S. states and use SPSS to analyze it. With any analysis, research should begin with a research question. Research is about understanding some phenomena. For example, we might wonder why some states have more abortions than others. With any research question, there is a dependent variable, which is what we are interested in explaining, or the effect, and an independent variable, which is the cause. In this situation, our dependent variable, the one we want to explain, is the number of abortions in a state. Measured here is the number of abortions per 1,000 women. While there are many potential explanations for why one state might have a higher abortion rate than others, we will start with the hypothesis that states that have fewer abortion laws will have more abortions. Our independent variable, then, is the number of abortion laws. Researchers often start out with univariate data analysis. This is also known as descriptive analysis. When doing univariate analysis, the goal is to examine what our data looks like. What is the average number of abortions in the states? How many abortion laws are there in the states? With univariate analysis, we are looking at one variable at a time, hence the prefix UNI, so we are not yet examining the relationship between our two variables. In this example, we use SPSS to describe our data, using a combination of frequencies and descriptives. In this example, we see that 13 states have 3 or fewer laws restricting abortion, 20 states have 4 to 6 laws, and 17 states have more than 7 laws. Looking at abortion rates, the average abortion rate in the states is 18.06 abortions per 1,000 women. Abortion rates range from a low of 2.7 per 1,000 women to a high of 46.7 abortions per 1,000 women in these states. Next comes bivariate analysis. As the word suggests, bivariate analysis involves looking at two variables, and, more specifically, the relationship between these two variables. In a running example, we can produce a comparison of the average abortion rate in states with different number of abortion restrictions to see what the impact of these laws is. In SPSS, this is called a mean comparison analysis. As you can see, SPSS will calculate the average abortion rate for each category of state laws. The results produced here suggest that states with fewer laws have more abortions, just as we hypothesized. The abortion rates in states with few restrictions, 0 to 3, is 22.6 per 1,000 women, compared to a rate of 19.95 in states with some restrictions and 12.36 in states with more restrictions. Of course, before we conclude that state abortion laws reduce abortion rates, we must also control for the fact that there may be alternative explanations for these differences. To do so, we use multivariate analysis, which allows us to look at the impact of multiple variables at one time. For example, it could be the case that conservative states have more laws and conservatives may be less likely to get abortions. If so, then the state political ideology may explain both abortion laws and abortion rates. Or it may be that southern states, which tend to be more religious and conservative, have more laws and few abortions. So in order to understand the cause of variation in abortion rates, we have to look at several possible explanations. In our example, we will look at abortion rates for southern versus non-southern states, controlling for the number of laws a state has. In our analysis, we see that states with few or some laws, southern states, have lower abortion rates than non-southern states, 23.0 in non-southern states versus 21.0 for those states with few abortion restrictions, as we see here. For states with more laws, abortion rates are essentially the same. Also, we see the states with more laws, regardless of what region of the country they are in, have lower abortion rates than states with few or some laws. So, we can conclude that both region and abortion laws are causes of variation in abortion rates in the states. Of course, there are many other alternative explanations for which we ought to control, but the key is in order to come up with more definitive answers to our questions, we must control for at least some of these. To summarize then, when using data, researchers first describe the nature of the data. Then they look at the relationship between their independent and dependent variables. Finally, they control for alternative explanations. In this way, researchers can identify the causes of a variety of phenomena of interest. If you are interested in learning more about how to do data analysis, contact your professor or your advisor for more information.